Hey, what is up, stud stackers? Welcome back to episode 2 of Building Mos Eisley in Lego. Guys, I am super excited to bring you guys this episode. There's a whole lot to get to it. We have a time lapse, we have a package opening, we have just a whole lot of just progress that you'll be seeing throughout the episode. And guys, I'm super excited to bring you this episode. If you're excited, definitely show some love by smashing that like button. Now guys, before we get started, I do want to apologize for this episode coming out a little later than I was hoping. My goal was to have this episode release the weekend before this episode's going out. So I guess the final weekend in February. That is my goal, is to have each episode be the final weekend of the month. Sadly, it did not get to that. This month has been really busy for me and Nate, and we really haven't gotten any chance to, have building sessions. Obviously, again, he has a life, I have a life. It is very, I don't want to say difficult to mellow it out and stuff like that, but this month was kind of hard to, work around. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this month has been a little hectic when it came to building, so it's not, I guess, as much as I probably could have gotten done. I was able to get this other docking bay, I almost said hangar, the other docking bay taken care of this last weekend, and I probably could have gotten more done if I had more time, or at least was able to make more time, but I digress. It's not the end of the world. This is kind of what I meant in episode 1, that it's going to be helping with it being monthly episodes, not weekly or bi-weekly. With it being such a large mock and being such a large process during a time where I'm planning a wedding, I am currently doing household projects. Obviously, Nate has his own projects going on, and it just makes it a lot easier with this being monthly episodes, where I can take as much time as I need, and if I need to take a week off, it's not the end of the world. But with that being said, there's still a whole lot of progress. With that being said, I got 3 speeders built. I have a time lapse coming up with that. I was able to, again, get this other hangar docking bay put together. So I'm super excited to, show you guys the progress. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are going to think of this episode. I have a few questions, including like, what do you think of a second X-Wing being put in the mock? As well as just, I think there was a droid depot or something like that, that'll be asking later in the comments. So again, if you're super excited for episode 2 of Building Mos Eisley, definitely show some love by hitting that like button. You guys went crazy with the first episode. I really do appreciate it. So I'm super excited to see the series continue all the way out to BrickWell Chicago. So with that being said, let's get on to today's episode. Okay guys, so starting off today's episode, we're going to be kind of pausing from the main build itself and doing a side project, which is of course going to be building some speeders. As you guys know, Tatooine, there's a whole lot of speeders, people, driving around or floating around, I guess, because it doesn't drive. But any circumstance, we're going to be building 3 speeders for the mock today, or for this episode. We have this red one, which is the first one I have all the parts laid out for. We have a blue and a yellow one. I don't know if you've seen this. The designer obviously is Flying Waffle. You can get the instructions or the build pictures or whatever on brickvault.toys. I get a lot of my stuff from there, and this was one of them, obviously. I think they're called the Mandalorian speeders or whatever. They were showcased in the Mandalorian TV series, and I really liked them, and I figured, they're speeders. Obviously, they can be used for different planets and such, so I'm going to be using it for Mos Eisley. I think it'll work perfectly. I have a time-lapse planned for building all 3 of these. That way you guys can have a little bit of fun with a time-lapse. I have the instructions for the red one set up. I've got the Clone Wars ready, as you can see in the corner. I'm going to be watching that while building these 3 speeders. Again, we'll get onto the actual build of Tatooine shortly, but obviously we're going to take a small break and actually work on a side project. So let's get into that time lapse right now. Okay, guys, so that was the time lapse. I hope you all enjoyed watching me build all three of those speeders. I really like how they turned out, and I'm super excited to see what they look like on the mock itself. But before we jump into the full video, I have some packages I'd like to show off. Just kind of, show off what I'm getting in, some cool things. I also have a package for my buddy Blackwell, so I'm super excited to show off that. The first package I have is kind of a small one. As you guys can see, it's a paperback. It's not anything like full-on Lego brick related, but I'm super excited that I got this because as a side project, my goal is to work on building a Rebel fleet. Slowly been working on that the last couple of years. Just recently I got another A-wing built and a B-wing. So, but what this is, as you guys can probably kind of tell, they're all the markings for the red squadron. You have red, I don't know why it's set like this where it's on both sides, but you have red 1, 2, or red leader, red 2, red 3, red 4, red 5, which is Luke Skywalker, red 6, all the way up to red 12. So why this is important, because obviously, oh, and if you couldn't tell, these are stickers, by the way. Something I'm going to be including and I'll be showcasing later in the video is the X-Wing I currently have. I'm going to be converting into Biggs Darklighter's X-Wing. For those of you who don't know, there's a deleted scene with Biggs on Tatooine meeting up with Luke Skywalker before all the excitement begins. So I'm going to have Biggs and his X-Wing in the other hangar, which you'll see again shortly. And so I'm slowly trying to convert that brighter red and white X-Wing I have to a darker red X-Wing matching Biggs's color scheme, because he's got like a bunch of yellow and a couple other stuff. So that's something that's going to be a process as it goes. But I also found these stickers because, again, I want to do all of Red Squadron, and I think these are going to be super cool. If you can't tell, they fit on a 2x3 tile. I have purchased from the store before. I bought stickers for the Jedi Interceptors, so I know that they're good quality. I know they're really good stickers, and they look really nice, and they match really well with like the Lego coloring, I guess you could say. Like this dark red is pretty spot on to Lego's dark red color, so I'm super excited. Again, it's not really as important as the parts that are going to be shown, but it is still worth mentioning just because it is something super exciting. So I'm going to save my buddy Caleb's package last, but this one I got from BrickLink. The package is really sticky. I, of course, opened all of these already off camera just because, one, this one was a pain in the butt. And I just wanted to make sure, it's a little thing I have mine that I like to make sure that all my parts are in there. That's it for that package. A lot of it is just restocking on some parts. These 1x2s are very useful, especially for the hangar or docking bay and the actual terrain, and I'm going through them like crazy. I think there's like almost 100 in there, and something that I do not love entirely is when there's a whole bunch of mixed pieces like this, where it's not just 2 pieces, it's a whole bunch. But I understand, like, some of these parts I only ordered like 6 of, and that's just the quantity the guy had. So it's not the end of the world. If you're wondering what the yellow pieces are, it's the same with this bag. There's also the classic R4 unit helmet or head in there. It isn't for Tatooine. It's actually for a personal project. As you guys know, I like building other custom vehicles and ships and stuff like that. And I'm in the process of buying another one right now. That doesn't really coincide with Mos Eisley. And the yellow parts pretty much go to it, including the R4 head. So that's pretty cool. Again, it's mainly just restocking of parts. You got 1x4s, you got 1x4 plates, 1x6 plates. It's just a whole lot of restocking when it comes to this. So nothing too majorly exciting. Then this is a package for my good buddy Blackwell. If you do not follow him already, I would definitely recommend it. I'll leave a link to his channel and his Instagram in the description below. Huge shout out to the guy because he gave me a fairly large and generous discount on his BrickLink store. He has a really, really nice BrickLink store that he's adding parts to almost daily, which is very impressive. And I'm pretty happy with my purchase. And again, huge thank you to the guy. Because not only did he give a huge discount, thanks, homie, awesome. You know, it was just quick service. Like, I got this package pretty quickly, and all the parts seemed to be, again, I looked at these parts to make sure everything was in there, and all of them look really nice and clean. This order has a lot of plates because I'm running low on these big plates. This is what comes in handy when building the filler sections. Like you saw in the first episode, Nate and I were able to get a whole bunch of the filler sections sets and up to the correct height, and that used a majority of my plate collection. So I have a bunch of these coming in. As you can see, just a whole bunch of different kinds of plates and stuff. I really didn't care about the color. It was mainly just buy as much as I can. So that's a huge help when it comes to plates. More just hand bricks because I need them. There's a whole bunch of different parts that obviously are going to come useful. I'm going to try and not dump it all over the place. But 1x6s, got more tile, more plates that I've been using. I've been using this part a lot. Just a whole bunch of different stuff. And then obviously a bag of 1x2s that really come in handy. Pick those up real quick. So, huge shout out to the guy. Again, huge thank you so much for helping out. He reached out to me asking if there's any way he can help with the build series, and as well as, you know, just the build in general. And he was able to give me a huge discount on this. Like I said, if you aren't following him on YouTube or Instagram, I'll leave a link in the description below. Huge shout out to the guy. He's such an awesome guy. I've been having a great time chatting with him, talking to him. He's currently building his own Lego studio, which is really, really cool in my opinion. So if you want to go check him out or check out his BrickLink store, he's got great prices, great part selection. I definitely recommend it, and I'll leave it in the description below for you guys to check out. So with that being said, let's get on to today's actual mock progress. Okay guys, so this is what the mock is looking like. I am very pleased to have both these docking bays underway. Obviously, I really haven't touched that side in a while other than touching up a couple corners over there. I really haven't put any focus over there just because there was so much done already in the first episode over there. Obviously, it still has a bit to complete. That right there is basically the height where I want it to be final. So both of these do have some, some height to build on it. But my goal for this month, obviously, was to get this second docking bay put together because these two things were probably going to take the longest amount of time. Once I get to the actual buildings, and again, I'll show you, what I'm working with on that just shortly. But these two things were probably going to take the longest just because, obviously, getting the curve, getting everything situated, all the lights, all this kind of situated, it was probably going to take the longest. I'm not going to lie. When I get to the actual houses, it's probably going to be a breeze. Not to say it's going to be super, super easy, but like it's going to be a bit more, I don't know, simpler than putting together all this kind of stuff and making it modular with houses and buildings and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be as difficult because I can, make a house and plop it out. With this, I have to make sure that the structure all around is completely solid and make sure that everything is connecting in correctly and looking correctly. That way I can lift from this angle, that angle, lift it up, move it if I need to. Not have any wires break on me. But yeah, other than that, I am super happy to see this thing, again, to the same height. It is currently the same level as that. I stopped with that dark gray, or dark tan, my apologies, line right there. It is the same height. I measured. Everything is exactly the same when it comes to that. The main difference, obviously, between this one and that one is the actual, entrance, I guess you could say. So with this one, obviously, you have that doorway leading into it. You have the docking bay code right there. you have Obi-Wan, Luke, R2, and C-3PO walking through. You have the bounty hunters bounty hunters and Jabba talking to Han Solo. All that things going on. So this was kind of that separate area, and I really like how this one works together. This side, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and my buddy Caleb actually brought up the idea of doing a kind of open doorway or hangar door, kind of like what you see on Lothal and other planets and stuff like that, and I really like the idea. Originally, I was going to kind of do a more like sand wall, I guess you could say. So this wouldn't be a thing. It would like completely be flat against it and would have arches, kind of similar to what that is right there. So imagine that, but you know, bigger. And I thought about that, and I was like, it looked fine, but in reality, I kind of want to add some more gray, more color. Obviously, like I like the doors on all these. Obviously, I've got one right there and one on that side. And I kind of like the idea of having like this larger gray doorway or entrance or something like that. An idea I did originally have, and I kind of scrapped it just because I don't think I could get it to work within the space I was limited to. Originally, I had a plan to see if I can get the door to be motorized. Obviously, I can't go that way because the wall's curved. And I thought about, maybe raising it up and down and stuff like that. But with all the lights and all the configurations and just like, I don't think it's going to be high enough to where the full-size door that goes all the way to the bottom could raise all the way up. And I figured that would just be a whole lot of extra stress when trying to deal with everything that's going on. Because again, guys, this is only half of the mock, which is insane to me to say, because I was actually looking it up and kind of going back throughout the channel. And if I'm correct, this right here, this from that base plate all the way down to that corner, is the same exact size as my old Battle of Hoth mock, which was my very first large-scale mock. And if that's the case, and seeing all this, and this is only half, it's kind of crazy to me how far I've come as a builder. But any circumstance, I digress. With this being only half, and I still have a whole lot to do, I felt like focusing on a lowering door was just going to be a whole lot of extra time. And obviously, I still like how it came out. I've got lights in the doorway. I've got this little entrance. I really like how it looks, especially going up against the sand. It still has that feel of, oh yeah, there's a door that comes down, obviously. But I really like the idea of having speeders going through. And this is kind of going to be that story I was kind of mentioning before with, obviously, you have the main events of A New Hope going on. You've got the Empire that are going to be coming down this way, trying to capture the droids. You're going to have Luke and all the crew going inside so they can actually fly away in the Falcon. You're going to have Jabba meeting up with Han Solo. Obviously, you'll have more scenes going on that half of the mock. So that's going to be the majority, but I also want to throw in some extra side stories. And this is kind of what I was talking about with like putting an X-Wing and putting in characters and rebels and stuff like that. Because I really wanted to fit another docking bay and kind of have that side story where, well, obviously the Empire is looking on Tatooine for those Death Star plans. It only makes sense that the Rebellion was there also trying to find those plans in the droid to rescue the plans themselves. So, and like I mentioned earlier, there's a deleted scene where this character right here, Biggs Darklighter, is actually on Tatooine talking to Luke Skywalker. I think they're at like Tashi Station or something like that. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have him. So this is the X-Wing. It is an X-Wing I've had, probably the longest one I've had. I haven't really loved the whole bright red and white X-Wing color scheme, so I've started kind of converting it to the dark red because that's what I prefer. And I still have parts coming in, and this is what I meant by like those stickers that I have coming in. They're going to be actually right here. I have ordered the 2x3 tiles, so those are going to be replaced on both sides. so I can actually put those correct tiles. And then obviously I'm going to be slowly transitioning this into Big's color scheme. The major difference is there's going to be like yellow stripes going down or whatever, and a couple of yellow markings on the wings. Like if I'm correct, the nose cone is still the same and the cockpit's still the same. It's just going to be yellow stripes kind of all around the X-Wing. So that's going to be a process that I'm going to be doing for the next couple months. It's not really anything major. But I do have his minifigure and I do have his droid. So I have them all set up, ready to go. But my idea is to have either Biggs and someone else, because there's obviously still so much space. So what I'm thinking about is putting another X-Wing in here, and I have tested it. I can fit another one comfortably, so it's not like too cramped. I want to get you guys' idea on it. Would you like to see another X-Wing kind of parked in here? Eventually, I'd like to get more lights to kind of light up both X-Wings so they kind of match the Falcon. By the way, those lights on the Falcon are slightly dimming out just because I got to change the battery pack in them, but a problem for another day. But yeah, would you guys like to see another X-Wing over here? I think it'd be kind of cool. Obviously, right now, it's kind of empty. There is going to be cargo crates. There is going to be stuff, like I mentioned over there, that's going to help kind of fill in the gaps and not make it seem as empty as it is right now. But yeah, I've got a fun little idea where obviously you got a rebel, or you're going to have two rebels coming in on a speeder, you know, coming to find Biggs and the other pilot. You know, like, oh yeah, let's go search for the droids. Obviously, their X-Wing is going to be parked here. This is obviously going to be raised, like I said, over there. Both of these are going to gradually raise to the height that it's supposed to. And that kind of marker right there is where I'm kind of setting it up as, okay, that's where the height's going to drop. These entrances or little cutouts are basically the same thing I have on the opposite side, or the, you know, other docking bay. I am really liking how they are looking. I've got a orange tinted light on there hanging from the side. I like how the doors came out, as well as the sidings and stuff like that. It is on both sides, obviously. And it is the same for that one, and it is the same for the three over there. So, when it comes to, like, normal, I guess, parts and scenes and all that, they're pretty much identical. Obviously, the color schemes and the little tan markings, dark, you know, cracks and stuff like that, that's going to be different because obviously I'm not doing the exact same thing over and over again. But just kind of help throw in a little bit of you know, little changes. It's not the same exact thing. I also added a little crack on this side, you know, just for fun. It's the same on that side, a little crack going up. But this is something I'm super excited to have. So since both of these are up, you can kind of get my idea from the first episode, is I really wanted this like narrow walkway going down the middle. That way you're going to have like these little shops. Obviously, they're not all going to be Jawas. I just have a bunch of Jawas on hand, so I'm trying to fill in the space. But you're going to have these little markets and stuff like that going down. I'll probably be building a few more of these stands. I really like how they came out. They're just little stands I put together where they're going to be selling different things. But I really like the idea of having this like darker pathway. I'm going to have the sand troopers and stuff like that coming around this way, trailing behind, obviously, because ideally, like in the movie, they're going to be coming through, they're going to be going through the doors and stuff like that and shooting at the Falcon and all the, you know, characters and main characters and stuff like that. If you can see right there, I have a little cameo or Easter egg. If you guys have seen Kenobi, you probably know exactly what that is. But yeah, other than that, this side is pretty much the same exactly as this side. You got lights above the doors. This side only has 2 doors. This side has 3. With this being smaller space and not as big as this one, this half circle or quarter circle, whatever, obviously is smaller than this one. and I didn't want to push having 3 on this wall and making everything kind of look cluttered. So I am okay with just having the 2 on this side. I think it looks really nice. I'm super excited to get good shots when all this is tiled and everything looks clean. I think it'll just look super sick. I'm not gonna lie, I was really tempted to just fill all this stuff in, make it look like this on this side. I was so tempted, and I was looking at my parts, and I'm running not low on the 2x2 tiles, but not to the point where I want to just fill all this. Like, if I were to use them all up, I'd probably get all the way, I'd probably get up to here before I ran out, which seems like a lot, but in reality, when I still have all of this and another half of the mock, I'm kind of being, cautious, because I want to try and like do what I'm doing with these, where I'm like kind of doing the outline and stuff like that, and still having that like impression, like, okay, this is what it is going to look like, but I'm not going to waste all my parts. Because what I did, what me and Nate did last time, and we filled all that, obviously it makes the scene look super cool, and I love the way it looks, but I ran out of those, and I had to buy like 1,000 more 1x2 plates just so I could do this. And I did buy 1,000, and I had like maybe half a bag left after building all this, and obviously doing all that. But I really don't want to push me too thin on them, especially when I still have a couple buildings to put together. Now onto the speeders. As you guys watched the time lapse from earlier, I have the 3 speeders. They don't have any pilots or figures in them, except that one in there as the Rebel pilot. Obviously, they'll have characters or passengers and stuff like that. Like, this one's probably going to have a couple passengers riding within because of the droids driving. Same with that one. Luke's land speeder, I'm probably going to put closer to the front of the mock, which is going to be on this half, not this one, just so I can have the, these aren't the droids you're looking for scene. Something you'll notice throughout the mock when it is finished, there's going to be multiple appearances from multiple of the same characters. So you're going to see Farm Boy Luke and Ben Kenobi probably a few times throughout the mock, especially like inside the cantina. There's going to be that scene. I'm going to be utilizing my light up lightsaber for Obi-Wan, and just overall, there's going to be multiple. So obviously that's not going to be here. The Bantha is probably going to be at the front of the mock as well. The second one I build eventually will also be, paired next to him. But yeah, overall, I do have a couple more speeders I'm wanting to build. The one from the UCS Mos Eisley set, I'm probably just going to put in the mock, just because I think the speeder looks fine and dandy as it is. As well as I just want to make sure that like all the streets are looking populated. There's so many speeders, so many characters. So I want to make sure that it looks like it's a actual city. Now, as you can see, pretty much the final topic of the video is going to be like these outlines right here. As you remember last week, I had a bunch of this space like kind of emptied because I had to work around, kind of like right over there. It was just like patches that were missing because of something that I was working on. Originally I was going to put the cantina in this area, and I just felt like it was too squished. But I got all that filled in, and now I have some outlines and some buildings I'm looking into. These are kind of going to be roughly the sizes of the buildings that are going to fit on this half. Obviously, the special theater thing is going to be on that side. So that's kind of what it's cut out. I probably could put something in this area as well, and I'll kind of run it by Nate and see what he thinks to kind of fill in this area. That way it's not like too empty. But for now, it's kind of, blank canvas. But for now, I do have these spots filled out. I think this is enough for this area, just because I want people to be able to see like what's going on down this way, and I think having this enough space of people walking by, I think that'll be plenty. That way you can see the inside of that. These are just the kind of outlines right now. My goal for this next episode, or the next episode for the end of March, is to have these buildings done. And again, really, I don't want to say cocky when it comes to it, but I'm pretty confident that I can get these buildings done, or we can get the buildings done fairly quickly, just because they're easier than these. But if you're wondering what these gaps are on both of these, my plan is to have I can't remember what they're called, but you can walk underneath these catwalks or whatever. So this is going to be a separate building. That's going to be a separate building. But you're going to have a little catwalk where you can have a figure walk across, and you're going to have an arch so you can have figures going underneath. It's going to be same right there. That's kind of just a rough idea. From Battlefront and stuff like that, I noticed there's quite a few buildings that are like that. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have placed around the MOC. So a couple of these buildings are probably going to have those kind of catwalks. This building, I don't think I'm going to do a catwalk. I'm thinking about extending it and making this a droid depot. Something I was really liking the idea, and kind of started with that little, stand booth or whatever, because it's got a C-3PO head. Is I was like, oh, maybe I can make a booth that sells a bunch of droids. Because I have a whole bunch of different classic and older and just astromech and protocol and normal droids and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I have so many options. I think this would be really cool. And I was like, that's just too much for a stand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a droid depot. So please let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you guys like to see, maybe if I extended this building over just a little bit, make this a full interiorized building with all kinds of different droids that people can come in, buy parts for droids. I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of a cool idea. Like I said, though, my goal for this next update, or the update in March, episode 3, is to have this section completely done. Now, that's definitely a lot, and you might not think that it'd be possible, but when you really think about it, the biggest things are going to be tiling and getting these two things put together. I'm not too worried about the theater. That will come. I've actually already started prototyping. And the tiling, I'm honestly not too worried about, because if I don't this section right here isn't completely tiled, it's not the end of the world. I'll get to it when I get to it, and it's not going to be something that is a win or lose by the next update. So if I don't get all that completed, that's fine. But I want to be done with both these structures, the two buildings, and the majority of what's going on this half. I want it to be done. That way I can spend 3 episodes on this half of the MOC, and then the final 3 episodes on the other half of the MOC. I wanted that to be the plan from the get-go, and I'm hoping to keep it like that. So hopefully that stays on that plan. Like I said, I know it's a lot, but I think we can do it and get it done. It's just going to be quite a bit of work. But with that being said, I think that is going to be it for today's episode. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Let's get out to the outro. Alright guys, so that was today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, definitely show some love by hitting that like button, as well as if you're new to this channel, please think about subscribing. My goal is to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I definitely think it is a believable goal. I think I am 400 away right now, and it would definitely mean the world to me, especially trying to get back into the swing of things. I do have other videos planned other than just building Mos Eisley. I just ran a challenge idea to Nate the other day. He really liked the idea, so that's something to think about. I'm wanting to bring back the minifigures, collecting the Star Wars minifigure series, as well as starting another one. I really am into getting the Pirates of the Caribbean minifigure series. If you guys haven't checked out my Black Pearl versus the Flying Dutchman mock that I did for BrickWorld a couple of years back, I definitely recommend it. I am a huge fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, along with Star Wars and stuff like that. So I think that'd be kind of cool, trying collecting all the characters from Pirates of the Caribbean. I have quite a few of the big ones like Davy Jones, Blackbeard, Salazar, and a couple others, but any circumstance, I digress. If y'all enjoyed, definitely let me know in the comment section. Again, I really want to know what you guys think of the buildings. If there's anything particular you'd like to see me put inside one. Some of the houses are probably just going to be you know, empty, just because there's not going to be a whole lot going on. But some of the bigger buildings, like, again, I would love to put in a droid depot. Obviously, there's going to be a junkyard in the other half of the mock, as well as a couple other things like the cantina. But if there's anything specific you'd like to see, definitely let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to. Again, I am a huge fan of the droid depot. I have a whole bunch of different droids and stuff like that that I've collected the last couple of years. I think it'd be really cool to actually get to utilize all of them from, you know, all the way from 1999 all the way up to, you know, this year with all the newer droids. So if you want to see that, definitely let me know. I really do love how both of these docking bays are looking. I am loving with all the lights and stuff like that. I do need to change the batteries on some of them, like the Falcon. I think the battery pack and that's kind of going out. I've been noticing the light's been dimming and they're not supposed to do that, so hopefully it is just the batteries going dead. I haven't changed them in a long while. I do plan on making an order to brick stuff or light my brick. I think is where I had an order set up to kind of restock on lights, because I've utilized quite a few on this. A lot of the lights I have are getting old and breaking on me, so I think I just need to, you know, bite the bullet and actually get a whole bunch of new lights. Plus, that gives me a whole lot of opportunity with lighting up all these different buildings and throughout the mock in general. So that's a process I'm going to be working on. Nate and I are planning on setting up another building session, hopefully this upcoming week. Well, upcoming week after the video has been released. He's got a whole bunch of parts and orders that he's made that he's kind of got at his house chilling until he comes over, so he can actually bring it over and we can use it. And then I've got a couple more orders on the way to kind of restock those 1x2 plates and bricks that I mentioned earlier that I'm kind of running short on, so I can do more with the buildings and stuff like that, and maybe doing more with the terrain and kind of filling all these, you know, white and green and blue. That way it's, you know, more finished. But if you guys did enjoy episode 2, definitely show some love by hitting that like button. Guys, you guys crushed it the first episode. You guys really enjoyed, so I'm hoping you guys enjoy the progress that comes for episode 2. The plan for episode 3 is to have this half of the mock completed, which again is a huge thing. But I'd like to have it set where the first 3 episodes are this half of the mock, and then the final 3 episodes leading up to the finale will be doing the other half of the mock. That way I can pretty much package this up, get it ready, and have it set for BrickLink Chicago. But with that being said, I think that is going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, definitely, I know I've said that already a couple times, but definitely show some love by smacking that like button. If you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are thinking about on the mock, and I think that's going to be it. So I'll catch you stud stackers in the next one. Bye-bye.